If you've been trying to lose weight and nothing is changing, your liver is almost always the reason, because when the liver gets backed up, it can't burn fat, causing your body to put it right back on. Fortunately, there is good news. You can flip that around fast. These are 7 everyday foods, things most people overlook, that help your liver clear out what's been slowing it down and unlock its fat burning power once again. To start, number 1, I'm going to show you the simplest way to take pressure off your liver before the day even begins. When you wake up, your liver has been running at a slower pace for many hours while you're sleeping. It's because you haven't eaten, you haven't hydrated, and the bile that your liver relies on to move waste out of the body has been sitting all night. So that causes it to become thicker and concentrated, which forces your liver to push through something closer to sludge than liquid when the day starts. That's why the first thing you drink matters more than a lot of people realize. One of the best options that is available is lemon water. Why? Because its acidity hits your digestive system and it signals the liver and the gallbladder to release a wave of fresh bile. Thinner, easier moving bile that pushes out the stuff that's been sitting there all night. But that's not all. There's also a protective side to it. Lemons are rich in compounds that the liver can use to defend its cells from the wear and the tear of everyday toxins. That's why sailors carried lemons on long ocean voyages. They kept food from spoiling because those compounds slowed down the exact kind of oxidative damage that your liver deals with every single day. If you want to start using lemon water first thing in the morning, here's my recommendations. Start by squeezing half a fresh lemon into 8, 10, 12 ounces of warm or room temp water. Warm water can sometimes be best because it's more gentle on digestion first thing in the morning, but probably avoid hot water because it can sometimes weaken some of the beneficial compounds. Drink it right when you wake up before you put coffee or other food in, and then that way your liver gets the first signal of the day. Use a straw if you can, and then rinse your mouth afterward to protect your teeth from any of that acidity. If the sourness feels too strong, you can dilute it with even more water. You still get the benefits, and it's just easier to drink. Put the lemon peel right in the water as well. Let it diffuse a bit. You'll get even more benefits out of it. There's no downside to diluting it with more water, but just put the whole lemon in. You can also sip lemon water throughout the day if you'd like, or drink a cup of it before meals for better digestion. Number 2, now you know how to get your liver started in the morning, so let me show you how to keep that momentum going. Your liver uses natural enzymes to break down fat and clear out the chemicals that you absorb every single day. But for a lot of adults, those enzymes aren't very active. Why? Because of years of sugar consumption, medications, processed foods. They force the liver to work overtime and dull the enzyme activity. Fortunately, coffee helps flip that switch back on. Not because of the caffeine, but because it's loaded with antioxidants, especially one called chlorogenic acid. The primary source of antioxidants for most people is their coffee. It signals your liver to activate those enzymes again. And then once they activate, your liver is able to continue burning fat and processing toxins out of the body. But that's not all that coffee does for the hardest working organ in your body. Large studies found that regular coffee drinkers had dramatically less liver scarring over time because those antioxidants can help calm down the irritation that turns into fibrosis of the liver. And here's one of the most surprising findings. People who drink coffee consistently have up to 70% lower risk of dying from chronic liver disease. Probably had no idea your morning cup of joe was doing so much for you to protect you. Now, here are some of my recommendations when it comes to drinking coffee. First, drink it after you have the lemon water. I usually drink mine after my workout or maybe just a little bit before, the energy going. The lemon gets the bile moving first. Then the coffee activates the liver's enzyme system so it can actually use those antioxidants. Second, keep your coffee as clean as you can. Keep it as black as you can. Choose organic beans because coffee crops absorb more pesticides than a lot of other foods. Avoid syrups, avoid artificial sweeteners, avoid chemical creamers. Those just add more work to the liver. And if you want a little bit of flavor, use a clean organic creamer, a splash of full fat cream, a touch of pure monk fruit, a collagen protein powder. Cinnamon is also a great option. There's an added bonus of supporting blood sugar and keeping the liver's workload even lower. Next, stick between the 1 to 3 cup range per day, depending on your tolerance. That range is where the strongest liver benefits show up in studies. And if you deal with caffeine sensitivity, try a half calf or a clean clean Swiss processed decaf. Both of those still contain liver-supporting antioxidants. I would recommend avoiding flavored decaf. They often contain harsh chemical solvents. When used in this way, coffee stops being just a morning drink and becomes one of the easiest daily habits that you have for supporting your liver and turning on fat burning. I actually have an entire video explaining the best ways to use coffee to burn fat. I'll include a link to that in the description below for anyone that's interested. Number 3, now that you have your liver finally moving again, the next step is to help it deal with everything that it runs into throughout the day. Even with a clean diet, you're still exposed to things that your liver has to filter out. Chemicals from household products, airborne pollutants, residues from food and water, and the everyday metabolic waste that your body naturally produces. When the load stacks up faster than your liver can handle, fat burning slows down. But there is one food that can help keep up, and that's cruciferous vegetables. Research actually tested this in one of the most populated regions in China, and people drank a simple beverage made from broccoli sprouts. And within just 24 hours, their bodies started clearing airborne toxins more than ever before. So how does this work? The switch behind the effect is called NRF2. It's the signal that your liver uses to turn on its own antioxidant defenses. The main antioxidant it produces is something called glutathione. Glutathione is what I like to call the body's street sweeper, and especially for the liver. It binds and neutralizes toxins your liver has already started breaking down. So your liver can package them safely and then move them through bile and the urine. The NRF2 turns on, the liver becomes faster and more efficient at clearing out the buildup that normally slows fat burning down. And once it's on, it stays on for days. Your liver keeps those genes active for 48 to 72 hours after you eat cruciferous vegetables. That's why even a small, consistent serving can make such a big difference. I try to get them in every single day. So when it comes to eating cruciferous vegetables, you should aim for about 2 servings per day, or between 100 to 300 grams, depending on how much you're trying to detox. Some of the best options for your liver include broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, kale, and cauliflower. And if you want to get the most out of them, here's a pro tip. Chop your vegetables, let them sit 30 to 60 minutes before cooking them. That short little rest period allows the sulforaphane to fully form. That's the compound that flips the NRF2 switch that we just talked about. When you do this, it stays active during cooking, giving your liver even more support when you eat them. In the Livingood household, we consistently, on a daily basis, have these vegetables cut up in a bowl in the fridge so we can grab them and cook with them, or just eat them raw with some of our favorite dips. Number 4, now that bile is moving again, there's another layer the liver has to deal with, and that's congestion, the slow, heavy pressure that builds up when bile hasn't flowed well for a long time. Dandelion root has been used for centuries for exactly that reason. In early spring, right after long winters of heavy foods and very little fresh produce, people would go out and pick the first young dandelion shoots that they could find. Grass, I remember the field we lived next to in Iowa, just covered with dandelions in the spring. When people used to pick those, they didn't know anything about bio. They just knew it helped their bodies shake off that heavy, sluggish feeling from coming out of the winter. The bitterness in dandelion root activates receptors in your gut, which tells the liver and the gallbladder to release fresh bile. The kind of bile that moves easily and doesn't get thick and sluggish again. That's what makes dandelion different from the foods that we've already discussed. It doesn't just help bile flow in the moment, it helps your liver rebuild healthier bile flow over time so it doesn't keep falling behind. And when your liver doesn't fall behind, it can spend more time burning fat. Dandelion also helps calm the liver tissue itself. When bile sits for too long, it can irritate the liver, and the compounds in dandelion root help settle that irritation. That way the liver can handle food without feeling overwhelmed every time you eat. So if you decide to start taking dandelion, make sure you stick with the root, not the leaf. That's where all the liver supporting compounds are. I recommend brewing 1 to 2 teaspoons of the dried root just in hot water as a tea for 10 to 15 minutes. If you want a stronger liver support, you could drink 2 to 3 cups a day of that for a shorter stretch. If you don't want to make dandelion tea, a tincture or a powder works as well. Just add a teaspoon of dandelion root tincture to a little little water up to 3 times a day if you want something quick. And if the taste is too strong for you, try mixing a squeeze of lemon in or use a capsule made with whole dandelion root. This is what I do. I just have a capsule form of it called my liver support. I put a link to that below where it actually has the dandelion root in it. So I get it on a daily basis and don't have to mess with the teas or boiling it or making it myself. Now, as far as timing goes, I recommend taking it before meals if possible, especially before your heaviest meal of the day. That's because your liver needs the most support and the most help during those times. So I use it and take it usually in the morning in those capsules in the liver support. Next, I'm going to share some of the most powerful foods for healing your liver and losing weight. But first, if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to hit the like and the subscribe button. Doing so helps this information get to a lot more people who need to hear it, and you'll make sure to see more videos like this in the future. Number 5. Now, even if your liver is finally starting to work the way that it's supposed to, there's still one problem that almost no one talks about, and that's the backlog, the waste that your liver has been holding on to for years because it never had the capacity to clear it. And this next food is one of the best at helping your liver work through it. I'm talking about black radish. It's a round root with a tough, dark, and crisp white flesh on the inside. It has a sharper, almost peppery bite to it because it's packed with nutrients that your liver uses when it's trying to finish the detox work that it already started. Now, those nutrients break down into something called isothiocyanates, which help the liver chemically tag toxins so they can be carried out of the body. You can think of it like this. If cruciferous vegetables help identify what needs to be cleared, black radish helps the liver move more of the material out. And they do this by supporting the steps that bundle the waste so it can actually leave the body. That's why it used to be the most common radish across Europe. People relied on it during long winters when heavier foods and slower digestion put more strain on the liver than their bodies can handle. They didn't know the chemistry, they just knew their bodies processed those meals better when they ate it. So if you want to start using black radish or even red radish, still has a lot of the same compounds. I grew up growing those in our Iowa garden and I still enjoy them regularly to this day. The easiest way is just buy the fresh root. Peel off the outer black skin if you get the black radish. If you get the red radish, they're usually already ready to eat. Try to leave even some of the green stems on. There's a lot of nutrients in the greens if you can tolerate that little taste. I'll cut them in half and dip them. I can leave a little bit of the root on there as well. Inside is the white and surprisingly mild center. From there, you can prep it just like any other rooted vegetable. Eat them raw. I think they're absolutely delicious. You could grate them, 1 to 2 tablespoons of peeled root into a salad or into a warm dish. That's enough for the liver to respond without overwhelming your system. And if the raw taste is too strong for you, you could roast them. Roasting softens the sharp flavor, but it keeps most of the compounds that your liver uses. You can also get capsule or powdered forms that don't have any taste to them. In my liver support, I put black radish in there because it's such an important food to help power the liver. Look for options made from the whole black radish, not from the extracts. Those will give you the same liver benefits without all that strong flavor. Again, it's in that liver support. You can check it out below. Number 6. Now, this next part is important because even when your liver is moving better, clearing things out, there's still one area that controls how well it can burn fat long term, and that's the health of the liver cells themselves. If these liver cells stay irritated or worn down, the liver has to spend most of its energy defending itself instead of burning fat. And that's where one food steps in and does something all the others can't. Talking about artichoke. Artichoke contains natural compounds. The most important one is called cynarin, which helps calm down irritated liver cells so they can finally repair the damage that they've been dealing with. And when irritation inside the liver drops, those same cells start working the way they're supposed to, which means burning more fat and responding better to the signals that tell them what to do with the calories that you eat. If you want to start using artichoke for liver support, the easiest way is to eat the whole heart. I think they're delicious. Steamed, roasted works best. You can buy jars of them. I've already pre-roasted. Simple. Most people tolerate it really well. Ideally, don't eat tons of it with a bunch of chips and a spinach artichoke dip, but you can make some delicious dishes with putting them over the top of chicken breasts and maybe having some cheeses involved. It's one of our favorites. If you want the stronger liver benefits, plants that you see in the research use an artichoke leaf extract. That's the part of the plant with the highest concentration of the cinnamon. Capsules, tinctures made with the leaves are the versions used most in the studies. You don't need a large amount. Just follow the serving on the bottle. If you're cooking with artichokes, the outer leaves actually contain more of the beneficial compounds than the actual heart. So don't be afraid to enjoy the leaves on the outer side. You don't just eat the pulp. I know it's a little softer there, but the outside is where a lot of the good stuff is. Again, if you want a capsule form of this, I also included artichoke in that liver support. Number 7, when it comes to fat burning, there's still one signal that can shut it down, and that signal is insulin. If the liver stops responding to insulin the right way, it defaults to storing fat instead of burning it. That alone can override every positive change that we've talked about thus far. And believe it or not, there's a simple food that helps clear that signal and then get the liver listening again, and it's garlic. Garlic has been used as a healing food for thousands of years, long before anyone knew what the liver even was. Ancient healers would use it whenever people felt sluggish or bloated or backed up. Today we know why, because those are all the signs of insulin trouble. So how does it work? The compound that gives garlic its smell is called allicin. It helps the liver become sensitive to insulin. It does so by calming some of the irritation inside the liver and improving the blood flow those cells rely on. And when liver cells can finally respond to insulin again, they stop pushing calories into storage and start burning more of them as fuel. Not only that, garlic also has research showing it can actually help reduce fat inside the liver itself. And that fat in the liver has to go first before you'll start making any of their progress losing body fat. Now, when it comes to taking garlic to support your liver, fresh is always the best choice. Mince a garlic clove, let it sit for 10 minutes on the counter before putting it into any kind of dish. What that does is that resting time activates more of the allicin that your liver responds to. If raw garlic is too intense, try lightly sauteing it or adding it into a hummus. You'll still get most of the benefit without all the harsh bite. And if you prefer a supplement, look for a product that contains aged extracted garlic or allicin. Those are the specific compounds that the liver recognizes and responds to. It doesn't really matter what time you take it during the day. Just try to be consistent, because that's what's going to improve your liver's response to insulin. Now, you can add every one of these foods into your day, but if you're still eating the things that shut your liver down, you're fighting an uphill battle. Because there are foods most people eat all the time, foods that they think are healthy, that choke off bile flow, trigger inflammation, and make your liver store more fat, no matter how clean the rest of your routine looks. And chances are, at least one of them is in your kitchen right now. That's why I put together another video that walks you through these 7 foods that are ruining your liver and blocking fat loss. The very things undoing all the progress that you're trying to make. It has helped more than 1 million people so far, and it can help you too. I'll include a link to it right here. Click it to watch that video next, and I'll see you there.